Welcome to another episode of War Hero to Superhero, helping military veterans and first responders transform their lives from the bedroom this week to the boardroom. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Faust. You might be asking yourself, where's Michelle? She'll be back tomorrow. And as I tie this conversation, this is for the men today. Our topic this month is gotta have fun in the bedroom. So your mission, men, because this is derived towards men, our mission, if you choose to accept it, is to keep the heat in the sheets. And we're going to talk about how to do that, because there's days that you're like, it's great, and other days it's bad. So having fun in the bedroom goes over and actually starts in multiple different places, especially when you want to wow your wife. So today is your lucky day. This is and tactics. So please go over, if you are listening and you want questions to be answered, please go over and engage on the chat. And the best way to go over and support us is to go send a love. When you send a like, the algorithm is okay. When you send a love, it changes things. So if you like our content each and every week, please go hit the love or go hit the share. Thank you for joining. So your lucky day. So we're going to equip you. We are going to equip you with tactics to make you be sexy each and every day. So grab your 3-day bag if you're with us from the military side and be ready to deploy, because your operational location is operations under the sheets. This was inspired by Family Life. You can go to their website, Google, which is the ultimate search engine to go over and to expand your thoughts in your mind. And also our book, Leave No Marriage Behind, which is funny. I have to scour to go over and to find it. So if you want to go find that book, it is 99 cents on Amazon or your favorite store, or you can buy the old school paper style if you like. So let's go jumping into how to wow your wife, because we don't want to just go over and be okay in the bedroom. We want to be a 10 in the bedroom, right, guys? Doesn't matter if we've been deployed 6 months or just coming home. So I wanted to equip you guys on how to wow your wife, and some of the things I've gone over and apply, and some of the things I'm going to go practice. So let's get this started. And let me move there we go. Tactic number 1 is date nights. So date nights are key. They need to be scheduled, and they also need to be spontaneous. When we went over and were dating our spouse to be, we went out all the time. We had scheduled date times, and you would just be so anxious. You get off work like I did, and then go over and impromptu surprise your girlfriend or fiance, and then you would go on a date night on a random Thursday or a Saturday morning or a Sunday evening or whatnot, or you would visit in the middle of the night to go over and to get some smoochy time, or under the bleachers if you were young teens and going over and doing this. But when we got married, in about 2 years' time on average, based on statistics, we all, and from the military perspective, we kind of went faster with it. So for me specifically, I got deployed, my wife got pregnant, and I changed jobs in a matter of 4 to 5 months after we got married. So it was bam, bam, bam. And those date nights were forgotten. So under the sheets got really cold. And then my spouse and maybe your spouse went over, and you're wondering why, when you wanted sex or connection or intimacy, you were wondering why it sometimes would be days or weeks. You know, the intimacy frequency doesn't have to be 1 to 2 times a week. If you're in your 30s and your 40s, there are people that do it 3 times a day in their 70s. Suzanne Summers, for example. So why, as we as military veterans, first responders that are going out and fighting for our country and fighting out for the streets, why are we not fighting for our spouses in the sense of great intimacy and great connection? So date nights, highly encourage them. If you can't get out and you have kids and whatnot, Date Box is a great recommendation to do those scheduled ones. But something even spontaneous, going and taking a walk to the local shop if you're on base, and going over and maybe grabbing some different candies and just having like an old school sugar night or whatever, or going over and setting out a campfire. Not that hard to go over and do. Grab yourself a Duralog, a couple things. You don't even have to spend that much money. If you can't think of these things, go over and connect with us. We can connect you with resources to go and do that. But tactic number 1 is date nights. If you haven't re-engaged them now. Take the advantage of the warm weather and go over and do that, and then bring that throughout the year, because your sheets shouldn't just be hot during the summer and then cold during the winter. Your sheets should be hot and warm all throughout the year. If you don't like sweating, well, then you dial down the heat a little bit, if you know what I mean. But the overall date nights on a schedule and spontaneous basis, that's tactic number 1. Tactic number 2, I love you their way. We grew up as kids and grew up and into adults, and we had our own love languages. I'd highly recommend go reading Dr. Gary Chapman's love language book. You had I love you. I love you might have been a word. I love you would have been an action. I love you would have been time. I love you would have been gifts. No matter what it is, we as men need to know our ladies and say, I love you their way. So go over and I recommend you go look up Dr. Gary Chapman's 5 love languages. He has an app, and go take it for yourself and figure out your love languages. But really, if you want heat in the sheets, you go figure out their way. My wife is words of affirmation and physical touch. I lack those things. That's on my bottom. But if I really want heat in the sheets at the time when I want physical touch, I need to be going over and cultivating that physical touch all throughout the day. A hug good morning, a hug goodbye, a rub on the back, those types of things, playing with hair. You need to figure out what your lady specifically needs. It might be the small of her back. It might be the shoulder. It might be stroking her hair. It might be just an intimate hug. It might be some other things that go from PG to rated R and rated X, but it's your spouse. So rate it whatever you want, but learning their love their way is going to go over and help you, because if we do it ourselves, we tend to love on how we are. Not words of affirmation. I am acts of service and quality time. So what am I looking for typically, and what do I resonate? Acts of service and quality time. Whatever love language you are, you're probably resonating that. That's what you want to receive, and that's what you go over and give. True love goes over and says, this is what I know I need to receive for love. But when I want to go over and give love, I give the love what the person is looking for. So what is your wifey looking for? Love her that way. Your heat under the sheets will go over and increase. You won't need a heater during the winter, and you might need to invest AC in the summer, but your love tanks will be full. Tactic number 3, face-to-face versus shoulder-to-shoulder. You got to know your ladies. What is face-to-face and shoulder-to-shoulder? Face-to-face is what we're doing right now. So if you're live on here and you're watching me and you're sending comments through the live, or we're going over and we're talking and conversating back and forth. I say something, you say something. We take our hearts and go over and connect. We take our minds and go over and connect. That's a face-to-face. More ladies resonate that way than guys, but don't go over and pigeonhole them if that's not the way they go and resonate, because each thing that they go over and do is going to be different. When my wife is in a competitive mode, it's shoulder to shoulder. Guys usually tend to resonate with this more, like, hey, we're working on cars together. We're working on a project together. We're going out and go running together, playing sports together, shoulder to shoulder conversations. The activity goes over in bonds. So know your lady and figure out what she wants and where it is. There was a couple that was in the 5 love languages, and Dr. Gary Chapman was counseling them. They had about 20 to 35 years of marriage. I'm not sure the exact time. It's been a while since I read the reference. Struggling and everything else. And all the woman said is, like, if I could have had 20 minutes a day face to face with my husband, that's all I was going over and looking for. 20 minutes is not that much time each and every day. So find out what your wifey goes over and needs. Does she need that 20 minutes face to face time? Does she need that hour shoulder to shoulder time? Yes, you get face to face time when you go and have an intimacy and sex. And yeah, you might connect. But the thing is, if you want a deeper connection to have the heat in the sheets increase, find out where she goes over and connects. Is she a face-to-face connector? Is she a shoulder-to-shoulder connector? Typically, there is also one more option, back-to-back, but that usually is something that like if you're working 2 separate arenas and then you're doing this to cover mass defense, that's in parenting. You're going to do a lot more back-to-back type work. So it'd be very rare to go and connect that way, but find out where your wife goes over and connects. Tactic number 4. I know men struggle with this. I know I struggle with this. I have to balance this out on a regular basis. Men, I'm just calling you out here because men tend to do this more than women, is that be present in the living room. When you come home, you might be just married and not have any kids, or you might go over and be having 1 kid, 2 kids, 4 kids as I have. You might have 8 kids, 12 kids, whatever. You might be big family, small family, in between. They might be young, they might be old, everything else. When you cross that threshold and the times that you go over and agree, and this is things and intimate conversations you need to have in the bedroom, be present in the living room. connecting with the kids, engaging with the kids, going over and being a participant in the chores and the cooking and those types of things. It doesn't mean you have to grab all the house chores, but last statistics I looked, it's about 80% of household chores are still done by the woman if the woman is working. And if the woman's not working, it's about 100% of the chores. Again, it varies. Most of us guys don't go over and pick up our own slack and go pick up our own stuff. We'll do it in an office and take care of stuff. And when inspections come and, the exercises come and we're prepared and everything's neat and orderly and we have our methods to our stuff, but we need to be engaged. And those kids need to know and see that example because that will carry into the next generation. So if you want heat in the sheets and your generational impact to carry, be present in the living room, mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually. And even just starting small is going over and picking up after yourself. If it's not going to be an easy thing, especially if have not been there, not done anything physical or anything else. Being present in the living room, looking around what she is looking for and wants to go over and connect. It sucks when you get into an argument when your wife goes over and tells you what she's lacking because she's been lacking it a long, long time. So don't go over and wait. Be present in the living room. Maybe you take this week to go over and observe your living room, see what you're doing and what you're not doing, what is lacking and not lacking, and go from there. Tactic number 5, her likes, not yours. Another way to go over and connect. My wife loves comedy. I really don't like comedy. It's like comedy has a season, but she likes it every day. She likes to go over and go ziplining and those types of things. If I deeply want to connect, heat in the sheets, I'm going to go out there and connect to her likes and not mine. Because if I want the deeper connection with her and I want her, and we'll talk about that more on Thursday or Saturday on how to combine these tactics, because at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about them. That's what marriage is supposed to be. So it's her likes, not yours. We're going to talk about that balance, but figure out what she likes. Study her. We read books. We listen to podcasts. You're listening to me on live or the replay. And the thing of the matter it is, the most important book you should be reading is the book on your wife. So put your wife's name in there and say the book of Sharon, the book of Leslie, the book of Rhonda, whatever your wife's name is. Need to go write that book and go figure out those chapters and have it in there as a reference point. You can go over and write notes on your spouse. They might think it's a little weird at first, but you're saying, I'm getting to know you. I'm wanting a doctorate degree in you. I really want to go and love you so well that you shine and you flourish. Bam, right there and then. Her likes, not yours. Tactic number 6, call your lover, text your lover, show your lover. Again, we get caught up when we go over and we get married and then we get into our work and get into our grindstone, especially in the military. Military can be very, very long, long days. But the funny part is if someone comes over to your desk and interrupts you, what do you go over and do? What if someone comes to your desk and somebody calls? We go to the phone. What if somebody goes over and texts? We go to that. But those people are not going to carry legacy in your marriage, in your family, and very unlikely in your business. The average person in the military and in the first responder world is going to rotate sections or rotate partners or whatnot, or go deploy someone else and come back, and those people are not going to be there. So remember on a regular basis to call your lover just cause, not because of task. Text your lover just cause. Words of affirmation are great in both in the call and the text. Show your lover on how you're involved in that regard. All those things are going to go equip you to have heat in the sheets and to go over and to wow your wifey. Going from there, tactic number 7, it's her body, not yours. Men, we do this often as we get older. We don't give a damn about ourselves most of the time, and we don't take care of ourselves. We just let ourselves go. Not all guys, but just saying the typical, that we go over and we gain weight. We don't take care of our appearance. We might not go over and trim the brows because they go fused together, the ear hair and everything else, the wrinkles, the whole nine. When you got married, you were supposed to share everything and become intimate together. She might love you mentally and emotionally, but she should be able to love you physically. And I'm not saying, hey, if you gain weight, it's screwed, the marriage is over, or hey, you get wrinkles or gray or anything else. Yes, you love the person where they're at. But the thing is, a lot of the times we don't do the work to take care of ourselves. and it's her body. So we should be stewarding her body, just like we ask for our ladies. Like if our ladies went over and gained weight, and our ladies went over and got great, and our ladies didn't shave and do all these other types of things, we would still love on them, but the attraction goes down a bit. Let's just be honest. Like if a woman, quote unquote, lets herself go, it's not okay, but a guy is. No, neither one of us should be letting ourselves go. We were blessed with this body, and we gave our minds, our hearts, and our souls, including our physical, to our spouse. And if you go from the Christian perspective, to God. So it's stewarding what God has given you and stewarding what you're giving to your spouse. So we should be taking care of as best we can. We need a balance in between on that. If we're taking 16 hours to take care of our body and our wife's mind and emotions and spirit and soul and sex life is down the crapper because we're too focused on our body, that's too much. Again, it's her body. What does she want to go over and steward? I technically want a six-pack, but the thing is that me being healthy is more important to her. It's a balance of, that regard, but it's overall her body, not yours. Tactic number 8, disrupt yourself. This one's a hard one. This is actually the most hardest one to go over in tactic number 8. Look at yourself and what you go over and respond mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, practically, relationally, everything else. Just take one area and disrupt yourself. Maybe it's going over and when you cross that threshold, you bite your tongue before you go over and speak. Maybe it's going over and if you're like me and pickup drives you nuts, instead of picking up, you shut up and just do it later. Or you go over, instead of pointing out the flaws of what's going on in the day, that you go over and connect and edify them. Maybe it's something emotionally that you go over and you're not much of a hugger and a physical touch person, and you go over and do that. So disrupt yourself. Go over and look at one thing and look from her perspective and see. For me, it was my mouth. I would just speak my thoughts. I didn't give anything, and I devalued her for years in the sense of that, and not honoring her wisdom and discernment and other types of things. Disrupt yourself and go against that. Most recently for me is her discernment. She discerned things that happened in our family recently. We had a family emergency, and then she was discerning things, but she didn't have the facts behind it. She felt it, but it would come to reality afterwards. So one of the ways I had to disrupt myself is to go over and just say, hey, I don't trust these feelings. But when I go back, look at the past, her feelings then became facts and came into reality. So I've had to learn to disrupt myself and go over and say, if she has a feeling about something, I'm going to trust but verify, but I'm going to go with that and disrupt myself. Because my natural thing is like, you don't have the facts, you don't have the figures, da. This has saved me in business stuff. This has saved me in marital stuff. This saved me in relational stuff. So disrupt yourself. Just don't go automatically and feel it and do it. You have to go over and connect with the person you're with. So you're disrupting yourself to change and to go over and grow. That's tactic number 8. Tactic number 9, and the mouse ain't scrolling, isn't it? You're funny. Come on. There we go. Tactic number 9, learn about her mess. And I'm not talking about a physical mess that is in the bedroom. I'm talking about learn her mentally, learn her emotionally, learn her socially, and spiritually and sexually. I didn't add the extra S because it would have been mess. So the spiritual and sexual, they kind of tie hand in hand. They kind of work together. So learn about her. Take the time to go over and get your doctorate degree. We talk about that in this book, Leave No Marriage Behind. And the reason why is because we invest too much time, especially more of us guys and girls. Again, the stereotype is changing. And again, I'm not trying to stereotype. I'm just seeing these are the patterns I've seen over the years, is that we as men typically go over and get focused on degrees and entrepreneurship and money and fame and success or respect or whatever it is. And the thing is that marriages get lost, or the mission. It could be really great things. You can go look today in the news and there's major influential people getting a divorce because of irreconcilable reasons. And the funny part was, it was little minute things that we as guys did, and also girls, because divorce is not just one or the other, but we're talking about guys today, that we as guys could have been a contributor to that because we didn't invest into her mentally. We didn't invest into her emotionally. We didn't invest into her spiritually, sexually, and things of that nature. And also socially, we didn't invest. We put time to other things. We put something on top of the mantle and said this was more important, and we didn't go over and invest. A doctoral degree, if you get it today in 2021, in 7 years, it will be obsolete. That is the United States Department of Education plans. When they go set up degree plans in 7 years, that class is obsolete. Things go and change. We know things go way faster than that in 7 years. But the thing is that your marriage can last from 7 seconds, if you have the crazy, like, hey, I got married and died instantly, to 70 to 80 years, which is the goal here at War Hero Superhero. We want to revolutionize your marriage. We want to revolutionize your life. We want to revolutionize the way you go walk in this world, not just to go be war heroes on the front of the military and the first responders, which I highly respect. And I'm thanking you for your service publicly because I'm in the fight with you, still in. But the matter of the fact is that we do that for the short term, but to transform to that superhero, we need to put the priority placement in the bedroom, which is our wifey. So wow your wifey and learn about her mess. And again, we have a mess too. So just don't take it in context. This is an acronym: mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, sexually. The spiritual sexual is like pretty much one S. So get that doctoral degree, learn about her, study about her, go over and take classes on her, take classes about things that will connect to her, a communications class, an ethics class, a religious class. Maybe it's going over and not learning how to deal with your anger. I used to go to an angry class. The funny part is we were so angry, we disbanded and we had to go into the codependency group. Oh, it was so funny. We couldn't even keep a group together. But I had to go over and deal with that, to go over and to love on my wife more. So I might be frustrated about processes now, but I'm not frustrated at my wife because I really learned how to deal with my stuff. Again, we're always growing. We're always going there. So pursue that doctoral degree because that will carry dividends in the end. Your doctoral degree will only carry fiscally for a time. The average person retires to 1/2 to 1/3 of what they made, and then we're all pretty much equal, and that's why we all hang out like at different places when we retire. McDonald's was the thing when I was a kid that all retirees out. It didn't matter if it was that. It's going to be your favorite coffee shop or whatever, but realistically, the dividends that are going to be carrying your marriage doesn't matter if you're a dollaire or a billionaire. That's going to carry more than money. So in summary, all these tactics, this is one particular goal. Sex and romance increases as you learn about her. And it's less about you. It's less about me. It's about her. So wow your wifey by going over and taking some of these. Or maybe you have some that you have gone over and learned and you want to share because yes, we listed 9. That doesn't mean there's only 9. Tactics apply to the specific situation. These are general tactics. If you have specific tactics you want to share, go share that in the live. Go share that in the replay. Go over, and if you have a question, put that in there. It's always a dialogue, never a monologue. I am looking regularly at this thread, and if you go over and put a comment on there or anything else, I'm either going to like it, love it, or go over and entice a question, either in our Marriage Superheroes group or on the page or wherever you're coming from. So we are here to go over and serve you. And with that, we're at the end. Woo! Our superhero challenge for the day today is when you cross the threshold, men. And it's at the end of your day, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or whatever in your household. All this week, equip a tactic to wow your wife. You want to make sure she's conscious when you're going over and doing this, and then report your results. We love to go over and see if this is helping you benefit your marriage, benefiting your bedroom. So then it goes over and benefits and pours into the living room and then pours into the boardroom of life. So you're thriving from bedroom to boardroom. Again, I am Daniel Fausto, your host. My wife will be here tomorrow to talk it from the ladies' perspective on how to go over and wow your husband. That's probably not the title because she's getting the name title, but we're going to have fun. The whole month of this focus is going to have fun. And how do you have fun? You go over and you serve. And once it's a little uncomfortable at first, but over time, you're excited because of the connection and depth that you have. If you're struggling in this place, we love to connect with you. 20 minutes free, every single military veteran, first time coming on. Love to connect with you. Don't go over and wait because we don't want your marriage and your family and your business to go over and wreck. We see enough of that in the news already. We want to go over and to rewrite the script, change the statistic, disrupt yourself, and go over and thrive. So we're here for you. We want to thank you for going over and joining us. And I am going to click out of a bunch of buttons. I'm sorry for the distraction. There we go. We're going to look at the comments real quick. I didn't even see those. Hey, Queen Kimmy said hello. And she said great tips. And she said, wow, your wife. Wow. Awesome. So we want to thank you for all going over and joining. Connect with Michelle tomorrow on her perspective on how to wow the husband. Again, title is pending. And we will connect with you tomorrow. And again, this is always a conversation, a dialogue. Hold on. Where and how do we connect with you? You can directly connect with me on Facebook. Go over and send a direct message. Go to Learn and Live if you're watching it, direct message. If you're going over Marriage Superheroes, direct message. If you're going on Twitch, send me a direct message on Facebook in that particular regard, because Twitch doesn't have text in there. On YouTube, put something in the comments and say, hey, I want to connect with you. I think you can DM in there. Instagram with Leave No Marriage Behind, you can direct message, direct message, direct message. That's all you have to remember. Just find my name, Daniel Faust or Michelle Faust, and direct message us. If you remember nothing else, just like Queen Kimmy. If you found Queen Kimmy and direct message her, you can connect with her too. She does boss effect. So again, direct message, direct message, direct message. And on that note, we're going to directly message ourselves out of here and connect with you guys tomorrow. And again, it's always a dialogue, never a monologue. You watching this 10 years from now, we'll check on it. We'll connect. Thank you. All right.